before the flood, before the ark, before the skies shattered and the ocean swallowed the earth. There was time for repentance, time for reflection, time for return. Humanity was not destroyed suddenly. It was warned for 950 years. Imagine standing alone against an entire civilization. Imagine watching truth become strange. Imagine calling people to salvation and being laughed at for centuries. This is not merely the story of water. This is the story of arrogance, the story of patience, the story of a father who called his son and watched a wave separate them forever. This is the story of the first global judgment in human history. The story of a prophet who refused to quit. The story of obedience when logic said impossible. This is the story of Noah and the day the world was washed clean. Have you ever felt like you're the only one trying to do the right thing, while everyone around you just doesn't seem to care? It can feel pretty lonely, right? Well, today we're diving into the incredible story of a man who faced that exact challenge on a massive scale. His name was Nun, known in many traditions as Noah, and his story is one of unwavering faith, incredible patience, and a truly epic flood. Imagine a world that had forgotten its purpose. People were busy with their daily lives, but they had lost their way, straying far from the path of goodness and compassion. Into this world, a righteous man named Noah was chosen. His mission was simple, yet monumental: to remind his people to turn back to the one true Creator, to live with kindness and justice. For years and years, Noah spoke to his community. He talked to them day and night, in public and in private. He tried every approach you can imagine. It warn't him, he encouraged them. He used logic, and he appealed to their hearts. He'd say, "My people, worship God. You have no other deity but him. I fear for you the punishment of a momentous day." But how did they react? Most of them laughed at him. They called him crazy, a liar, just an ordinary man trying to gain power over them. They mocked him relentlessly. Can you imagine the strength it took to keep going, day after day, in the face of so much rejection? Noah never gave up. His faith was his anchor. This went on for an astonishing 950 years. Yes, you heard that right. 950 years of calling people to goodness, with only a small handful of believers joining him. Finally, a divine instruction came to Noah. It was time for a new plan, something no one had ever seen before. He was commanded to build a massive ark, a giant ship, right there on dry land. So, Noah and his few followers began their work. They gathered wood and started constructing this colossal vessel. And what do you think the people did? The mockery got even worse. Every time they passed by, they would jeer and laugh. A ship in the middle of the desert. Has Noah completely lost his mind? They couldn't see the bigger picture. They were blinded by their own arrogance. But Noah knew he was following a divine command, and he simply replied that soon they would see who the real foolish ones were. As the ark neared completion, Noah was given another instruction. He was to gather his family, the few who believed, and a pair of every living creature, male and female, and bring them all aboard the ark. From the smallest insects to the largest animals, they came in pairs and boarded the ship, finding a safe haven within its wooden walls. Then, the signs began. The sky turned dark, and the rain started to fall. But this was no ordinary rain. It was a torrential downpour, unlike anything the world had ever seen. At the same time, water gushed forth from the earth itself. The valleys turned into rivers, and the rivers into raging seas. The water level rose and rose, swallowing everything in its path homes. Mountains, everything. The world as they knew it was being washed clean. Inside the ark, Noah, his family, the believers, and all the animals were safe. They floated on the massive waves, a tiny vessel of life in a world submerged by water. From the ark, Noah's own son, who had refused to believe, struggling in the floodwaters, in a moment of fatherly love, Noah called out to him, pleading for him to come aboard and be saved. But his son, stubborn until the end, refused, trusting a mountain to save him. In a heartbreaking moment, a wave swept over him, and he was gone. It's a powerful reminder that faith is a personal choice, and not even a prophet can force it upon his own family. After many days and nights, the rain stopped, and the waters began to recede. The ark finally came to rest on a mountain called Judy. The doors of the ark were opened, and Noah and all its inhabitants stepped out onto a fresh, new earth. It was a new beginning. They were commanded to go forth, multiply, and repopulate the land, carrying the seeds of faith and righteousness into the future. The story of Noah is so much more than a tale about a big boat and a lot of animals. It's a profound lesson in perseverance, the importance of sticking to your principles, even when you're standing alone, and the unshakable power of faith. It teaches us that no matter how dark things seem, there is always hope for a new dawn. Thanks for watching. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories from history. See you next time.